Hey friends, let us do an unboxing, shall we? I forgot I bought this, and this is an interesting case of me having seen a deck on someone's channel and needing it immediately, finding out it was out of print or sold out, then finding it was back in print, buying it and not looking at it, and then not remembering why I wanted it. And not remembering what it looked like. So I do know that this is the Indigo Alchemist tarot because it's on the front of the mail postal box. But I don't remember what it looks like, and I don't think I should order things without without reminding myself what it was I wanted so much. But let's see. So I do remember, that this was something I really liked. So here it comes packaged in a nice blue indigo pouch with hand-sewn Indigo Alchemist on this. I think it's paper, like a really nice art paper. And then there's a little rock crystal. I don't know what this is. Flint, maybe? Someone will be able to tell me. And then the cards are wrapped with a note. It says, "The universe is sending us messages, and through tarot we can decipher them all." And then there's a great little blue wax seal. Can I get in without breaking it? I'm not the gentlest opener of things. Oh, there we go. So they don't come in a box, just sort of in the blue pouch, but that's nice because I don't need to keep them in a box if it came in a pouch. And then there's the Heather Blumenthal is the artist. That's her card. And is there something else? Your black tourmaline guardian stone was soaked in a salt bath and charged under a blue moon. So this is black tourmaline. So I will likely keep those two together. Very nice. I love thoughtful design. It looks great. So we have a little booklet, and it says, "This deck is dedicated to all the dreamers and wanderers, the creative souls who are changing the world with their authenticity, those who dare to be different, who shake up the collective by shining their bright light onto humanity." There's some special thanks, and then it goes right into the cards, the major arcana with their astrological and elemental associations. It's printed in blue and black. And then it goes into the minors in purple and swords in blue. So nicely done. And so no spreads, it looks like, and just some little thoughts here on the back. Copyright 2018, Heather Blumenthal. So that's the little booklet. Very nice. The Indigo Alchemist tarot. When the stars have collided and the sun has grown cold, although happiness evades and your world is amiss, your inner alchemist will transform your darkness to gold, illuminating the shadow, leading you out of the abyss. And so that is the back of that little card. Is that what the back of the deck? Yep, it's a nice back. I like that a lot. It's essentially the same as her business card, but that's really cool. Let's take a peek. So size-wise, if you know the World Spirit Tarot, it feels very similar to that. Cardstock's quite thin, but that doesn't really bother me much because I am a OG Riffler Shuffler. Can't believe I just called myself that. Whoops. Let's get in close. All right. So, here are the cards. Really beautiful art. I am remembering this now. This is one that Veronica Jude forced me to buy simply by having it on her channel. So this is the Fool, and it says some stuff in her hair. It says, "Moon dust in your living, stars in your eyes, you are a child of the cosmos, ruler of the skies." So this is very much a modern deck. I like the art a lot so far. It's super thin cardstock, you should know. I mean, again, that doesn't bother me, but it's really, really thin. And you can actually see with the deck, you know, as a pack, that it's pretty thin. So here's the Magician. The High Priestess. That's a beautiful Empress card. Oh my god. And that's a beautiful Emperor card. Sort of side by side. The Hierophant. So the Hierophant's interesting because it covers the sort of typical religious symbols of several religions. Obviously, or religions is an inaccurate term, but I would say faiths. Some of these are religions, some aren't. The Lovers. The Chariot. That's interesting. So on each of the cards, there's this sort of cosmos being depicted. As always, I like art that looks like it was done by hand, and this really looks like it was done by hand. So this Chariot is really a hot air balloon that looks like a scarab. Strength. As a Leo, I'm drawn to that card. And actually, as a Chariot's my birth card. I like that. Ooh, the Hermit's really interesting. So there's definitely sort of a Native American quality to that. And look at the way this sort of cosmos is seeping up into him through the ground. Him or her. Because you really can sort of read that either way, which I like. That's a really nice Wheel of Fortune. I have said many times Wheels of Fortune are frequently my least favorite cards in tarot decks. But when they're nice, they're really good, and I really quite like that. So you've got the Zodiac around the planets. Glyphs are inside. Really nice. Justice. Pink is not my favorite color in most contexts, but and that's not, it's just I'm such a weirdo, but like gray is literally my favorite color. So I just find it sort of hard on the eyes, pink. It's not really a gender thing. The Hanging Man is really interesting. So this road is cosmos. I read the Hanged Man in many ways, depending on the context. But I do prefer that they have an actual someone hanging, because I do read the card as consequences, but I also read the card as suspended animation, you know, and sort of feeling stuck or being stuck sometimes. So I have a less sort of modern quality to the Hangman when I read with it. Death. Temperance is really interesting. Not sure how I feel about it. The Devil. Fairly traditional, minus the people. Definitely more feminine energy than most Devil cards are given to. The Tower. I'm not usually a fan of tower cards when they look like modern office buildings. And this one actually has a wrecking ball in it. But what I will say is that the fact that the tower, again, has this sort of cosmos, the sky in it is interesting. The star, not my favorite so far. It looks like it's a unicorn. The risk with rainbows and unicorns to me is that they go from feeling like a workable tarot deck to a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper from the 80s. This goes a little close in that direction from my personal taste, though I can certainly see why people would be drawn to it. For me, not my favorite card. I really love this moon card. That's really beautiful. And that sun is quite nice. Judgment. I don't understand that necessarily. I wonder if the little guidebook describes what we're looking at. Doesn't seem to say a whole lot. Judgment. Yeah, it doesn't describe the image, so I don't know that I understand that image. Maybe someone can explain it to me. The world. And so then we would get into the pips. This is not, well, I call it a pip. This is definitely not a pip deck, which I knew, you know, in getting it, so that's not a shock. So here's the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords. Not, you know, this is definitely an interpretation of the Waite-Smith Two of Swords. I'm anxious as I'm looking at this because I'm already starting to get a sense that this might go down the road of swords as negative, which is just not something I like. Because the Suit of Swords represents intellect and communication, it represents learning, it represents writing, it represents thinking, and so I don't care for Rider-Waite-Smith or the traditional sense of them as negative for me. Although I don't mind this necessarily. The Four of Swords. That's cool. I like the image. On the swords are phrases like, I don't care, leave me alone, I hate you, I'm right, you're a liar. That takes this into far too literal a place for my taste. So I don't care for that. I like the idea of what I'm seeing. The text restricts in a way that I don't care for. Six of Swords. Sort of a hitchhiker. Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords, fairly traditional Waite-Smith. Nine of Swords. That's interesting. There's more text on here though than that. Misery, panic, worry. Again, like, to me that's just like using keywords on a card. Like, don't tell me what this card means. I know what the card means. So I get really cranky about that. I'm gonna just be totally straight up. Like the art, the text happily on this card is small enough that you can't really see it unless you're looking close to it, but it bothers me. I don't like feeling imposed upon as a reader with someone else's sense of what the card means. Again, I think it's totally within the rights of the artist to do that, and this is the artist deck, and this is my perception of it. And when creators do that, it limits the user to their point of view, which I don't appreciate. And one of the many reasons why I started reading with pip decks was I didn't like the imposition of it. Ten of Swords. This is interesting. So you've got a ladder rising out of a hole. Some text on the Page of Swords. It says, hear ye, all princes and princesses are formally invited to use your mental energy and enthusiasm to begin a new project. That's the Page of Swords. The Knight of Swords. What does that say? I don't know. Queen of Swords. I love this owl. She's a cool warrior queen. The King of Swords looks like a pirate with a pretty impressive beard. Ace of Wands. It says abracadabra at the top. I don't mind that. I like that. Two of Wands. That's really cool. Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Five of Wands. I don't mind this. I get what it's doing. I don't love it, but I'm okay with it. Six of Wands. It says, have your day in the sun. Seven of Wands. That is both cool and off-putting. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really liking the art in this deck. I'm having really mixed feelings about whether it's a usable deck for me. So this is something I feel like I'm definitely going to have to sit with and experiment with. Eight of Wands. I do like that. The Nine of Wands. The Ten of Wands. That's interesting. So I guess the pages are all these sort of letters, which I'm not a fan of, to be honest, just to be totally frank. Hear ye, all princes and princesses, you are formally invited to use your passion to discover a new phase in your life. So the sense that I'm getting from this deck is that it's not, this seems to be coming out of a tradition of more use for self, probably a little bit more about empowerment and that sort of thing. Again, to interpret the pages with text does feel to me as more of an imposition than an invitation. New phases in life, I don't interpret the pages as new phases necessarily. Aces, I would incorporate that way. Pages can be messages. So to that end, I can see them working. But again, it's just like personally, for my own taste, not my favorite. There's the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands. Wow, that's really pretty amazing. And then we get into the Ace of Cups. The Two of Cups, I do like this because I'm not always in love with the two people on the Rider-Waite-Smith way of looking at things. So this has sort of an elasticity that I appreciate. Three of Cups. The Four of Cups. These dolphins with the, again, the sky in them. The Five of Cups, that's a really interesting interpretation, and I really like that. Six, 7, 8, 9. That's pretty cool. 10. The peace sign's a little on the nose for me, but I do like that it's not depicting a family, because I don't think that that's the ultimate fruition for everybody. So I like that. Page. All princes and princesses, you are formally invited to get lost in your emotional inspirations and follow your dreams. Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. King of Cups. Then we get into the Pentacles. Here's the Ace. Really like that. Two of Pentacles. Spirit, health, work, family is what those little coins say. Three of Pentacles. That's really beautiful. Four of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Six. 7. 8. That's cool. 9. 10. I like that too. And again, I like that it's not a family. Pages, hear ye, all princes and princesses, you are formally invited to lay out a plan to practically reach your goals. Knight of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. And the King. So that is what the deck looks like, card by card. Let's see how it shuffles. So all in all, I mean, I like a lot of the cards. Like many things, I really do not. I mean, the couple of major cards I'm not wild about. Like, I can live with the unicorn. The pages I really don't like. Just, again, personally, it's entirely the author's prerogative to do what they want. And it's entirely the user's prerogative to feel the way they feel. I don't like the pages. I wish that a couple of the cards that have messages on them, like that Five of Swords, did not. But those are minor things. I mean, I think certainly the art outweighs the cons for me. I like the backs. I like the beautiful sense of sky and cosmos in the cards. It shuffles really easily because it's really thin. So let's just sort of lay out a square of 9. Here's that moon card I really like. This Two of Swords I'm not really a fan of. Chariot. 8 of Swords. 9 of Cups. This cardstock is really thin. I mean, it's almost like glossy paper, I'll say that. So there you have it laid out. Looks pretty good. I like the colors. I like the richness. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. Let me just do another one. That King of Wands is really kind of captivating. So it reminds me of a couple decks. It reminds me a little bit of the Anna Kay in some ways. It reminds me of, oh God, what was I thinking of? I can't remember. It is an indie deck, self-published, really thoughtfully packaged, looks really nice. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Honestly, I like the art a lot. It feels really handmade. I love the richness of the colors. These pages to me are distracting. And that may be hard for me to let go of. Some of the interpretations of the cards are again not to my way of going, but most decks, to be honest, aren't. But by and large, I really do like it. Again, I think for folks who are really concerned about cardstock, I do just want to sort of like it is really, really thin cardstock. Like, I can't think of another deck that I have that is this thin. Like, it will bend if you're not careful with it, but it does riffle shuffle nicely because of that. Great packaging, really thoughtful, nicely done. I think that there is absolutely an audience for this deck. I can tell out of the gate that this deck was not meant for a reader like me. And so whether it gets much use, you know, there are decks that are not meant for me, but that I feel a pull toward, that I want to use. And they surprise me. And then there are other decks that I thought I was going to love and don't. So you never really know. And what I will probably do at some point soon is actually come back with decks that I had mixed reactions to, and sort of update everyone on how I thought and whether or not I wound up working with them. But I'll probably wait a little bit, because honestly I haven't, other than occasional client readings, I haven't been doing many readings lately. So at any rate, there's a first look from me anyway of the Indigo Alchemist Tarot by Heather Blumenthal, available at indigoalchemist.com. I hope you're well.